I'm here in the Knesset with Anat Berko, who's a member of the Knesset. Now, Anat, what is it like for you being a member of the Knesset?
Thanks for being here and thanks for coming to Israel. For me, it's something a position that I can do much better to my people, and I think that also to bring my abilities and my experience and my expertise as a counterterrorism expert to the table and to legislate for soldiers and counterterrorism and related to security stuff.
Now, your family background is from Iraq and they became refugees. How did they come to Israel?
You know, there were many Jews from Arab countries that fled from Arab countries, from Iraq. In Iraq, 2,600 years were the Babylon community. Nothing left there. They were from Morocco, from Tunisia, from Lebanon, from Syria, from many Libya, many places that Jews need to fled because of persecution, pogrom of Muslims against them. The other thing is that the same process we see now with the Christians. And because of that, I'm saying that I heard this from one of the terrorists that I interviewed, that they are speaking about what is start in Shabbat, finish on Sunday. He said it in Arabic, نبدأ بالسبت ونخلص بالأحد. We'll start with Shabbat, with Saturday, the Jews, and finish on Sunday with the Christian. And actually we see that right now, even Bethlehem, that was a Christian city, not anymore. The Tamra tribe took over. They have conducted many sexual harassment there against Christian girls in Christmas. And I actually interviewed one of this tribe in jail from one of my research. And he said, yes, Christian, it's okay. Because then I said, if you'll behave like that against a Muslim girl, is it acceptable? No, it will be harm, it will be a war. So we see that a lot of Christian families fled from Bethlehem, that was a Christian city and not anymore. And the other thing that we see many Christians that fleeing from the Middle East. Same process that was with the Jews 70 years ago.
Now, you've written many articles on terrorism and counterterrorism. How did you get into the mind of a terrorist? What drives them?
I actually conducted first-hand research face-to-face with terrorists. So according to my research, I try to understand what are the motives, how they think, how they interact in their own family and with the community, what the incentive that they get to come to this path of terrorism, how they perceive the enemy, the Jews, the Israelis. Actually, they don't speak about the Israelis. They're speaking about the Jews. They're speaking about Christians. They're speaking about non-Muslims. So I conducted many years research inside jail, face-to-face with the founder of Hamas organization, top leaders from Hamas, parliament members, Islamic Jihad, Fatah. So when you deep inside the material and not just reading books or the theoretical frame, it gives you a sense. And I think that being a practitioner, because I'm Lieutenant Colonel Reserve, and being in the academia, this put a link between the two words and helped me to give also practical advice in my field.
Now, you just said that you've sat down with terrorists in Israeli prisons who've dispatched suicide bombers. Is a chief motivation religious ideology?
You know, religious ideology, it's there. This gives them the moral justification many times because they don't perceive themselves as terrorists. They feel that they did something good for their own people. So it's there, and you can get moral justification by Islamic verdict, fatwa, and to say, let's say, if Sheikh Qardawi, he called the Amir of all the Muslim Brotherhood upon earth. He will say that to commit suicide and to be a suicide bomber, it's not allowed. He wouldn't do that. But because he gave the moral justification from the Quran that it is istishhad, self-sacrifice, and not intihar, which means committing suicide, which is forbidden also by Islam, it gives them the sense that they are doing something good, and it's a form of combat, not more than that.
How would you break it when it's a religious ideology?
I think that the ideology is there, but because they use terminology from the Quran, even when Arafat, that people consider him, he was the head of the PA, and he was a terrorist with diploma. Even him spoke in Johannesburg. He spoke about the Hudaybiyah agreement with the Israelis. He took the terminology from the Quran that he is going to break this, the same thing like at the time of his prophet Muhammad.
Now, you've written 2 books, The Path of Paradise and The Smarter Bomb. Tell us a little bit about them.
Okay, The Path of Paradise, speaking about the dispatchers of suicide bombers and suicide bombers. And it's in general, and I think that it's it's a basic book to understand this phenomenon. The Smarter Bomb, Women and Children as Suicide Bombers. Many people thought that Muslims wouldn't use women and children, and I said many years ago that this will be the weapon of this era, and actually they use them as human shields, and also send their children with explosive belts and the women that pretend to be pregnant. And this is easier to infiltrate women and children through passages, through borders, and they rely on our morality in the West, all of us, that we will take care of women and children and wouldn't do anything that can harm them. We try to help them. If you see a pregnant woman, you're not going to shut her. But this is the problem. So also I have in my book how to have interaction with terrorists, to communicate with them, because they are going to be the leaders of those organizations. We see that in Hamas, who is running Gaza, terrorists that were in our prison. So you need to know them, you need to know how to communicate them, you need to know how to interrogate women, and it's totally different between males and females, and that's it.
Can you change a terrorist? Have you seen terrorists actually change?
It's ideology. You cannot change or rehabilitate them, because to be able, I'm criminologist, to be able to change their minds, it could be, but just for the short term. To rehabilitate, you can rehabilitate criminal, but if terrorists do not regret, and sometimes he regrets that he didn't succeed to kill more people, you cannot rehabilitate him. They have no regrets or remorse or nothing else. Thank you for having me, and shalom, and thanks for supporting us. I think that all of us in the same boat. Thank you so much. We need to protect the Judeo-Christian value for all of the Western world. Thank you.